Good evening, hello, and welcome to Grow number 5. Thanks everybody for being here today. For those of you who are new, Grow is a weekly online course where we discuss things around marketing. So the idea is within the course of a couple of weeks, we turn you with no prior knowledge into a full stack growth marketer. We started off really understanding our users, creating user personas, with a dive into social media, some ad spending topics, etc., etc. And as usual, I'm gonna take a little bit of time and wait a minute or two for more people to arrive, because usually people are a couple of minutes late. I don't want to keep you waiting for too long. There's also no homework that needs to be discussed. So if you, everybody, could just let me know if you're here, and yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, just like a thumbs up in the chat or like a hello would be awesome. And then in a minute or two, I'll jump straight into my presentation. Yay, people can hear me. Awesome. Okay, in the meantime, thanks everyone for giving me a reason to, get to change and dress up, put pants on, and do this. It's exciting to have a community watching me every week and learning together with me and our guest speakers. Again, I'll give myself and the other people to come like a minute or two, and then we can jump straight into the content of today. Cool. Hello, hello, hello. Cool. As usual, always ask questions, no matter where we are in the talk. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. There's a questions tab next to the chat, and I'm going to look into that as soon as I can hear the notification. Anyways, let me start. Just going to share my screen. Cool. Can everybody see the presentation? Cool. Awesome. Let's get right into it. For those of you who are new, because for this session, we invited some guests. This is me, Peter M. Buch. I am a growth marketer. I'm a startup founder. I've done a couple of projects. The last was Swelly, where we grew a chatbot and app to more than 10 million users over the course of 2 years. And we've worked with a couple of interesting brands that you can see on this picture. And I'm now advising some companies on growth, and I do a couple of startup projects. Hit me up with any questions anytime. Now, today's agenda, because there was no homework last week, I'm gonna talk about a brief review of last week. Then we're gonna jump into crisis marketing in times of the coronavirus. Everybody's sitting at home. Businesses are closing, some are closing, nobody's going out. So this is really crisis mode. So what are we doing in marketing? We're gonna discuss a marketing strategy, how to come up with a marketing strategy, and then how to create a content plan. I see a lot of people. Okay, people are struggling with the audio. Okay, sorry guys, I need to interrupt quickly. Somebody's struggling with the audio. Nina struggling with the audio. Can everybody hear me okay? Can you please everybody just comment with yes or no? That would be very helpful. Okay, Nina, it looks like it's not on my end. Feel free to watch the replay afterwards in case you have problems, or just restart Livestorm and try again. If everybody else can hear me, I'm gonna continue. Cool. All right, and then let's start with last week's review. The last weeks we talked about social media, we talked about user personas, user feedback, and the channel selection. And this is important because today we're going to talk about marketing strategy and creating a content plan. Now, we start first in creating a content plan. We start with a user persona. We need to understand who our users are. before we can define what questions to ask them and how to identify their problems and pain points and how we can best solve them. And then we need to define where we actually find those users. Where are they all day, every day? Right now at home, right? But what platforms are they using? Are they on LinkedIn, Snapchat, etc., etc.? So we're talking about the channel selection, and this is for us mostly social media and online platforms right now. Right, okay. Cool, sorry for the interruption. Crisis marketing is our first real point after the quick review. Crisis marketing. Now, what are we going to do today? How are our businesses affected? For those of you who feel like businesses are not affected yet, who run an online shop or any software business selling a SaaS product, for example, I wouldn't worry too much about it. There might be topics that are sensitive, so I wouldn't blast sales emails out there and go to business as usual. But there are some clever ways where you can attract new customers right now and even keep your customers coming back. If you have a SaaS product, what I've seen multiple companies do right now, and which is also something that I'm doing with the courses, is basically offering your service as a discount or for free to the public to attract free engagement. Once you onboarded those customers, you can turn them into paying customers later on. Now, the question is, beside that, what if my business is a physical business? What if you run a store and you don't have any online shop? Like, what if you have a business that is totally affected because you're in B2B and you currently cannot produce any products? Now, should we be business as usual or should we be in crisis mode? I mean, that is very strongly depending on what your business is. Now, let's assume you are a B2B business and you sell physical goods. Is it smart to spend money on advertising or marketing? I don't think so, unless you have something very clear, unless you sell something that people currently need. Now, what I would do is, you can think of two things in crisis marketing, right? You can think about new opportunities. So what can you sell right now that you haven't? Or you can just slightly adapt what you currently have. I would advise every product with a physical component, every company, to think about what people need right now that are sitting at home and that are bored. So if you do online coaching, for example, or physical coaching and webinars and talks, do something like I do. Sign up on Livestorm, give free webinars, and or run your yoga session in a big class online. So that's all something that we can do. But let's talk about a B2B product where you deliver something to your customers that you currently cannot do. Think of digital versions of your product. Is there something, if you deliver clothing for employees of big enterprise customers, right? Now, what can you deliver to them right now that helps them? Is it maybe a content guide to how to work remotely? Is it some tools to create their new merchandising that you can then deliver to them once they're back at the office, just to, tell them it's just a matter of weeks, let's focus some time on creativity and come up with something new. So think about, firstly, new ideas, and also about what you can do to keep your customers happy right now without just pressuring them and pushing them too much. Cool. Any questions, any cases for you guys where you would like to have some feedback? Is there any business that would like me to think about some creative stuff on what we can do in terms of crisis marketing? Anybody, anytime? Cool. Nobody. Cool. Right, I'm glad to hear that Nina is with us again. There is a question. Online shops. Would you mention anything about the virus? I wouldn't mention anything about the virus per se, because everybody knows about the virus. Right now, I would just make sure that you put a disclaimer and make sure that everything is on track, if it is, or pretty much be very straightforward about delivery delays and about consequences that it might have. Ingo, you said it's not a good idea to spend money on ads at the moment. Why not? Okay, I think it's not a good idea to spend money on ads right now because it is a time where a lot of people are at home, and there are some exceptions, right? So if you are an online store selling clothing, you can try to make some sales right now and just really go all in if you really know what works. But for me, marketing is experiments at scale. And if you are a not established business and you want to experiment with marketing and come up with a plan, right now it's not really a good time to actually get those experiments right because your sample is not right. So if you're experimenting with marketing budgets on Google or on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever, you're gonna get mixed results, and customer behavior will be completely different after all of this is over. A disclaimer on the landing page, save info package, so like word, is it better to nothing? I think it's good to have that disclaimer on there, and I think it should be enough for now. Yeah, definitely. Cool. I hope I answered your questions. If there's anything else, cool. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm gonna continue. And the most important thing I think right now is customer care and customer relations. Like I have a friend who runs a business in California working with salons and spas. And what they do right now is that they give their software for free to new clients and advise them to like use their tools to communicate with their customers and their audience. And it's a very good time for them to do something for their customers rather than asking them for something, which might be a little bit tough right now. Hi, Christina. Let's jump to the next step of today's course. Marketing strategy. We're working towards our North Star metric. For those of you who don't know what a North Star metric is, North Star metric is the number one metric, how we define success, how we define that our product works. For Facebook, for example, it would be daily active users. For Uber, it would be weekly rides. For Airbnb, it would be booked nights, etc., etc. Now, here's some ideas if you are about to come up with a marketing strategy and a content plan. I'm going to read all of them quickly. You can use social media. You can use LinkedIn the right way. Now, what does that mean, LinkedIn the right way? We talked about it last week, so feel free to watch the replay. Use Facebook or generally ads with retargeting, obviously to get into the mind of your customer more frequently. You can create video tutorials where you explain your product in a simple and easy way online. And then you can build a lead magnet, meaning that you can, for example, give away free templates. In my case, I could offer you guys to download a free template to create a content marketing plan, and I could collect your name and email address if you sign up, and then basically take it from there. Email marketing sequences. What does that mean? So first of all, your customers receive an email for the sign up on your website, no matter if it's a free stuff that you gave away or they're just generally curious. Then after 7 days, they might get a message from the CEO with some tips on how to get started with your product. 2 weeks later, they might get an introduction into a special type of the product. For example, if you are working with Buffer, which is a social media tool, how to create better Instagram stories using Buffer, for example. You can start an online magazine. What is an online magazine? Online magazine is the new wording for a blog. I think it's important from an SEO perspective to call blogs on websites online magazines. There is some changes that Google made that makes it easier for you to get discovered if you use magazine versus blog. Run experiments at scale. What does that mean? Create an environment at your company where you create ideas on what to do in terms of experimental marketing. and really test them rapidly, and what works, you put your focus and later your ad dollars behind it. You can work with and leverage influencers. You can learn and understand SEO. I hope that I'm going to get an expert about SEO into one of those next 2 courses in the next couple of weeks. Then empower your users. I think for me, you ultimately win if you empower your users, because word of mouth marketing is the strongest marketing you can get. If your customer really loves your product and recommends it to friends, that's, for me, in most cases, the only way that you can succeed in the long term. Unless you have ridiculously high margins and you just put ad dollars on your product and people will buy it. So find a way to make it not only make your product share worthy, but also make it easy for your user to share it, and then incentivize your user. Online banks like N26 or Revolut would give you and your friend 20 or 30 euros if they both create a bank account. Now they only say at Revolut, you can give a free bank card to your friend. And that's already a great incentive, right? Who doesn't want the free credit card and a free bank account? So think about ways not only make your product share worthy, but make it easy for customers and your users to talk about your product. Now, how to start? Where are my users? Obviously, is where we start. Where are my users? Where do they spend most of their time? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Facebook? Do they spend all their time on TikTok? Do they watch YouTube videos all day? How can we address our users and how can we get to our users the best? Then we start with a content plan. So what is our blueprint for a successful campaign? How do experiments fit in? So firstly, I'm gonna jump straight into a content plan and into a full marketing campaign. There is gonna be a lot of details now, and I took a lot of that knowledge from HubSpot. They have a great variety of online tools that you can use. I'm a big fan of what they're doing in terms of content marketing. We're also using their product. I'm not getting paid. And I'm borrowing some of their knowledge. And I'm also going to send you guys a PDF with all the information and more after this. So you will get not only my slides, but also some additional PDF. And you can learn this in your own time. So I'm going to be quick here on purpose. I don't want to bore you guys. At the same time, I want to give you all this information to digest within your own time and capacity. Now, the important part is here, how do experiments fit in? So for me, with content marketing and marketing in general, I always keep one day in the middle of the week free for experiments, where I just, there is no real agenda. There is just really something new that I take time to either come up with in 1 week, and then the next week I do it, or it's something new that I come up with now and really put into place. So always give your head some space, give yourself some time to run experiments and measure them and make sure to optimize on that. Always have time for experiments. How to create a content marketing strategy. We start firstly with defining our goals. So what is the goal of the marketing strategy? The marketing strategy for me usually is a 3-month period or a quarter. What is the quarterly goal? Do we want to sell 5,000 units? Do we want to get 100 new customers? Define and set our goal. Then we do persona research. Persona research meaning either you come up with a persona, or you interview your own customers and find out what they have in common and create personas amongst them. Persona being, for example, Andy. Andy is 27. She works in San Francisco. She has a lot of free time because right now she's only working once a week. And we can reach her best on Pinterest because she loves fashion and she loves interior design. So she's creating boards on Pinterest, etc., etc. So basically defining and researching on her persona. We run a content audit, meaning that we basically analyze whatever we have right now. For me, for example, my content audit is super straightforward with Grow. I have a lot of video material where I'm speaking to you guys. I have a lot of podcast episodes that I recorded. I have a lot of blog posts that I've written, and I can recycle a lot of that and make it pretty much bring it into different new outlets. I can create shorter versions of my content that I spoke about, put it on YouTube, create even a TikTok channel, for example, where I give advice within just a few seconds, where I just basically run through the 5 steps within 5 little TikTok videos. So there's a lot of easy, simple things that you can do as soon as you understand what content you already have created. Now, find a content management system, which is, for me, I put it in there, but it's not the first thing that is so relevant, because at the beginning you can do a lot without that much structure. But yet again, find a management system once you need it. Like, it could be HubSpot or something else, or if you're purely on for social media, use something like Buffer or Hootsuite, where you basically sign up and you can share to blogs and to Facebook and to Instagram, etc., and basically structure your content. Then number 5, and the last part, brainstorm content ideas. What can we come up with? And for me, I usually try to talk to my team, sit in a room, and brainstorm and think about like how we can reach the defined persona. Where are they? What kind of formats could we do? How can we best reach them? And I'm gonna go back real quick to this idea page, and I would advise you guys to pick 2 or 3 of those things and do them properly, test them, and then kill 1 of them or 2 of them if one works, and add 2 or 3 more, and create a cycle of 2 weeks where you can start testing and seeing if it actually works. All right, into more detail. This is a template by HubSpot. The step 1, complete a SWOT analysis on your content marketing efforts, develop a plan to improve. Then define the right objectives and KPI for your plan, brainstorm content ideas and create a map and funnel, and then create a timeline for your content plans. Actually, I could stop right here. You could start working on this now. You do your SWOT analysis, you then define your objectives and set a KPI. Objective 1, for example, growing my customer base on the website by 20% this week, next week. This is the KPI. The objective is more traffic, right? And then we come up with an idea. Okay, I can do this by being featured in multiple podcasts. My topic is growth marketing, so I find the best 10 top podcasts on growth marketing, have them interview me, and link to my website. This is how I can reach this KPI, I think, and we can start testing. We create a timeline. Every Monday and every Wednesday, I'm available for interviews for podcasts. Every Tuesday, I reach out to new podcast hosts and try to get into as many podcasts as possible. Now let's go into detail. The SWOT analysis. You can get this again. You don't have to read everything. I'm just gonna read one of the strengths and weaknesses even, and then you again can read this when I send you the PDF. Now, we have a lot of white papers that are well recognized in our marketplace, and they perform well for lead generation. At the same time, they do not work well to bring our customers back. They work well for initial lead generation, but not for lead nurturing. The opportunity is that is paid social media distribution. And the threats are that competitors can easily recreate our distribution. So if you, for yourself, think of 3 to 4 things for each of those 4 fields, I'll give you a blank canvas here that I'm also going to send to you guys. Again, this is inspired, and a lot of that content is from HubSpot. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Any questions on that so far? No questions. Good. Cool. I do continue, and I will jump back at questions if there are some. Now, after SWOT analysis, we're creating a content marketing action plan. we basically write things down into action, right? We create lower funnel assets, explainer videos to improve the performance of our lead nurturing programs. Leverage partners to create a resource center full of free content that will help increase new organic visits to our website. Or create content ROI reports to better understand the return on our current marketing efforts. Or make white papers more valuable for social promotion by developing an influencer program. So give incentives to influencers in this case. Same thing, once you're done with the SWOT analysis, come up with an action plan like this, where you basically put things into place. And for me, honestly, these are 6 things that they picked. Started with a blank canvas. Don't come up with 8, come up with 24, and really only take the best and discuss with your team what are the most valuable things. For me, for example, for Grow, create shorter formats of 5-minute videos that are easy to share on social media. So my students can send this out and basically give me free ads if they're happy with what they receive in the Grow course. Or create a summary as a LinkedIn or a blog post of each weekly Grow course, put it on LinkedIn and put it in a blog post, optimized for keywords, etc., etc. Those are like action-packed things that you can start doing immediately. Questions? Okay, no questions. Everybody's still here though, hey? Yeah. And Malik is still here. Right. Awesome. Perfect. You know what? That's the one thing that I've noticed, and the one thing that scares me the most about the Corona crisis right now is that we might get problems with internet connection and internet speed when everybody's at home. I had a couple of problems with video calls, but for the most part, it works. So I'm gonna keep checking in on you guys so that you're still here. Why are you doing a SWOT for the content? Isn't it for the product itself? Of course, the SWOT analysis is for the product itself first, but the SWOT analysis you can also do for the content. It's a great question. You know what? Like you do the SWOT team and yourself. You are great at writing blog posts, but you don't know, like you don't want to speak in front of a camera or you don't want to record audio. Then the written format is for you. Or if you have this genius photographer in your team, leverage that as well. Basically, you need to understand how your product fits into the strengths of your team. And if you don't have anybody who's good at writing, like forget about that. That's just not for you right now. And it might still be an opportunity for later if you find somebody who is a great writer, for example. Cool. Now, this is a little more detailed now. We are starting as a next spot with the next template, and we're going to fill in some objectives, customer lifecycle stage strategies to achieve the goals and key performance indicator. I usually start with the goal, right? With the help of partners, create a resource center filled with free long-form content and topics relevant to our audience. Now, in this case, for example, for Grow, I could partner with HubSpot to create a growth marketing Bible. And basically, we both use that on our website and share it. We can then increase new monthly visits to the website by 25% in 12 months. Okay, that's a cool objective. And the key indicator is the new organic visits on the site, for example. Again, you'll get that to look into that in detail. Ask me any questions anytime. For those of you who don't want to dive too deep into that, I don't want to bore you, so I'll jump through this rather quickly. Here is the plan for Reach, Act, Convert, and Engage. So basically start with objectives again, strategize achievements and goals to achieve goals, and define your key performance indicators, your KPIs. Reach, increase brand awareness and visit the company website, apps and social network sites. Act, increase audience interactions with content on the company-owned media platforms to generate leads. could be a Instagram page, for example, increase conversion rates on your website so people actually buy and use your product. Engage, increase long-term customer engagement, loyalty, if they keep repeatedly using or buying your product, and even advocate your product, talking about it. We're back at the word of mouth and referral. What can we give to our customers and users to talk about us? And then also, how can we make it easy for them to share that they actually love your product? All right, now we can entertain, inspire, convince, and educate our customers. So I really like this because marketing is such a broad topic and it's basically everything, right? So we can create awareness for a purchase, and we can basically put every category, like every item, every idea that we have, every content piece into this on a rational to emotional scale and on an awareness to purchase scale. Like, for example, a blog post about how it's so amazing to do social media marketing and why social media marketing on TikTok works will not get anybody to buy a Grow course, right? But it will create awareness, and if the blog post is good, people will think Pete knows his stuff about TikTok marketing. If you want to actually sell something, celebrity endorsement in this case, and if an influencer that is really, really great in marketing, or even like a customer says, Pete helped me to grow my business by 50%, and I interview him in a podcast and ask him like what his business is, how exactly did it change since Grow is on board, etc. That will directly lead to a purchase, or might directly lead to a purchase. Right, great overview, Canvas. Well, HubSpot is great. I have to give full credit on this to HubSpot. You don't need to reinvent everything. They've done such a great job. I'm just trying to explain it to you guys, and we'll send it over to you again after this. So I'm such a big fan of that. I couldn't have done it better myself. Right, then, for example, the price list is something that doesn't really inspire, right? But if the price is right, it might convince your customers to buy. Or an infographic doesn't inspire people, it also doesn't really convince them to purchase, but it educates your customers about what the topics are that they should actually learn about, and give them an overview of which online courses are out there, for example. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Far too kind. Right. Cool. The month January. This is our content campaigns and our content distribution. The first thing that you can see here is where you basically put the type of content in there, and then the second part is the content distribution. In this case, white papers. We have 3 original ones that we write in the month of January. We have 1 revamp, which is basically we recycle an old piece of content and put it out there in January as well. We do blog posts, we write 6 original ones, and we use 3 old ones. We have on SlideShare, we share 1 presentation, no infographics, or 1 original infographic, 0 spin-offs. We do 3 expert interviews. We could do that in a blog, we could do that in a podcast, etc. Product videos, we create 2 product videos where we explain why the Grow course is so amazing. We put it on YouTube. Now, the content distribution. I actually think, right, we should take 1 step back here. I explained to you the content campaigns, but I think the content distribution is where we start with. Why? Because you need to understand not only that you're blogging, but blogging is different on your own website than it is on Medium, for example, or on LinkedIn, where you can have your blog in a shorter version of it, right? So I would actually start with the content distribution first, social media distribution, AdWords, SEO, email efforts, etc., and then start there and say, okay, my goal is actually to send out email offers. Now, while I might create a blog post, I still want to actually write it in a way that I can use it as an email newsletter too, or basically create 2 versions of that. So create canvas again. You can use this for yourself. I'll send it to you later. Month of April. What are we going to do with the month of April? Free, I would advise free and not 5 content campaigns. I would also advise free and not 5 distribution models, because otherwise it's hard to track and you're also losing focus. So really, really be focused on what you do and where you do it. And then that's actually mostly it. Let's get to work. For me, the homework this week is quite a lot, but I want to give you an incentive first. For those of you who do the homework until next week, I will invite you guys, and only those who send me the homework as a PDF or go through or show me in a screen share in a video call. Those of you will get access to 2 extra Grow courses after the 1st of April. On the 8th and on the 15th, there will be 2 additional courses where I only give you access either paid or for free if you guys are doing your homework. Now, what is the homework? You've seen all those blank canvases. I want you to fill out those canvases and create your own content and marketing strategy. Feel free to ask me any question anytime. I am available for you guys. You can reach me at pete@grow.do. And if you guys are already in our Slack channel, hit me up on Slack. I'm trying to be responsive. And you can always book me for a free video call of 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how much time we're gonna need. And I would love to go through everything with you guys. And I will stay a couple more minutes for questions, so you can stay with me and ask any questions. But before that, I want to remind you guys that on the 5th and on the 6th of May, there will be the first Grow conference. We'll have about 20 to 30 international speakers, some of them who already are here on this list. The conference right now is still for free. If you go on growconf.co, you can sign up for free to the conference. There are still some free tickets available. After that, it will be 50 euros for the 2 days online fully remote conference. I have some great speakers there. Tanya, the founder of the Female Factor, which is a workshop series empowering female founders, or Alan, who actually creates AR filters on Instagram. 100 people. So there's going to be a lot of great people who give workshops, panels, and keynotes on the 5th and on the 6th of May. So check it out. Right now it's still free, so be quick. All right. Okay, cool. So are you really doing 6 white papers a month? How do you spread them? That is a great question. That was just an example, and it's not based on my example. So this is basically really just, for example, white paper. I could do a let's not call it a white paper. In my case, it would be a blog post. For me, like 6 blog posts a month would be a good number, depending on your audience. So really, if you do 6, spread them and use them on the best performing days, which might be Wednesday and Sunday, for example, depending on the platform. What do you mean exactly by white paper? What kind of content do you mean? The white paper was just an example somebody used on the HubSpot explanation. Sorry about that. So it could be a case study with a client in our universe. So a more in-depth case study where you explain and also interview your client with how they benefit from your product. And you can turn this case study into a white paper. Maybe 1 a day is a good number. Maybe 1 a month is a good number. It really, again, depends on your business and how engaged your audience is. For Twitter, like follow up and post 10 times a day if people are following you. For Facebook, they might be overwhelmed if you post every second day. It might be twice a week as a maximum. That's really hard to, or like not too easy to generalize what kind of content and how often to post. That's more a matter of testing and understanding your audience. Guys, also there is a questions tab. If you want to use that, that would be amazing for me to have a better overview of the questions also after the course. For somebody who watches the replays, they can see the questions here. Any further questions? In the meantime, I also want to invite you to next week's course where we'll have 2 experts talking about TikTok marketing. I will talk about AR and the new opportunities of filters on Instagram and Snapchat. And there will be more of an experimental social media fun activity day. So a lot of stats about TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat, but more about inspiration. We do not have a guest speaker today, unfortunately. So today it's just gonna be me. Next week there will be 2, maybe even 3. Do we have a course last time? The last week's course, the last week's course, okay, general, there was a course last week. Did anybody have problems accessing last week's course in the replay? You did. Anybody else? Okay, you cannot access the replays at all. Emily, can you also not access the replays at all, or was it just the one? That's weird. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. This is a new tool for me. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send all the links of all the 5 courses so far in our Slack channel, and I send them also out in an email without any registration. It's a direct link to the video. Sorry about that. For those of you who haven't been registered, and for those of you who have only joined this class, please feel free, make sure to send me an email to pete@grow.do so I can also add you to that list or add you to Slack so you can replay all the previous courses, and you can also sign up for the next courses. Cool. And again, sorry about that. Again, this has been a project that I started like a month and a half ago, doing weekly courses. Livestorm is new to me. I didn't know. I thought that everybody had access. How many hours a day do you invest in Grow? I try to keep my Wednesdays Grow day, and then there is about half an hour to an hour on the other 4 days during the week, depending on how many one-on-one classes I have. So usually it takes me an hour to do the presentation, takes me an hour to prepare, and it takes me like 2 hours, 3 hours to contact guest speakers and find guests for the GrowConf. What's taking a little bit longer is building the new website for the GrowConf. I spent the whole Sunday. But for me, general Grow is right now a side project for me. So I try to spend most day on Wednesday on it, and let's say an additional hour every other day. My main project is still Swelly. There is no main project right now. There's only fun projects that I enjoy. I help a couple of people with consulting, and I do different things. So this is just general fun marketing stuff, coming up with new ideas. Right. All right, the session is officially over. Guys, feel free to watch the replay. I'm gonna stay for a couple more minutes if there's more questions. And thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for tuning in every week. Thanks for those of you who are new, and thanks for those of you who spread it and told your friends about it. I'm always happy to welcome new people to the Grow classes. Don't forget your homework. That qualifies you to get the additional 2 classes in April after the 1st. Cool. I'll give you guys 1 more minute for questions. This was a fun one. Glad so many people came. Yeah, for those of you who have no questions, feel free to leave. Chat. Thank you. Can you send us the template for the content plan? Yes, I'm gonna send you the template for the content plan. I'm gonna send you the presentation, and I'm gonna send you another link that I think you guys should look into. My email again, is, I'm gonna type it for you. It's pete@grow.do. Right, thanks again for joining in, and hopefully see you guys next week or in a one-on-one session. Bye-bye. and stay healthy and stay home.